I can guarantee you that most of AEW's fan base is not familiar with, Nigel McGuinness and Bryan Danielson's rivalry from Ring of Honor over 15 years ago. Okay, the perception with Nigel McGuinness in AEW is that he is a commentator. He is not a pro wrestler. He is not an in-ring competition week in and week out. So you mean to tell me that as an AEW viewer, I'm supposed to automatically know and be educated on Bryan Danielson and Nigel McGuinness's Ring of Honor feud from over 15 years ago? Tony Khan owns Ring of Honor. Possibly he can show some of that footage from the days when they were feuding in Ring of Honor. He owns the library of all that footage. But you can't just tell a story like that in less than 2 weeks. Okay? Now, the storylines with AEW lately are pretty decent, right? But now we're getting into kind of a mixed up confusion situation here with the feuds, specifically with Bryan Danielson and Nigel McGuinness, because it's like we just saw at All Out, I meant, that Jon Moxley turned on Bryan Danielson. The BCC broke up, or they kicked out, Bryan Danielson. Jon Moxley put a bag over Bryan Danielson's head, trying to suffocate him. But now we're supposed to just forget all about that and focus on this match with Nigel McGuinness and Bryan Danielson. Okay, if we're looking at this match, technically speaking, this should not be a long match. This should be about 5 to 10 minutes at best. This should be an easy title defense for Bryan Danielson because, first of all, Nigel McGuinness is not an active competitor in the ring. Okay? I recently just found out that in TNA, Nigel McGuinness was called Desmond Wolfe. I had no idea that that's who Nigel McGuinness was in TNA. I only knew about him recently through Ring of Honor because I've seen some clips here and there. I first knew about him in NXT UK when he was the commentator for that show, right? So it's like, as a viewer, I am not supposed to be enthralled or excited or intrigued by this feud. I'm more intrigued by the BCC kicking out Bryan Danielson and the possibility of Jon Moxley challenging Bryan Danielson for the AEW World Title, because there's more of a story there and there's more of a recent history with that whole storyline. We're not supposed to automatically assume or know that, oh yeah, these guys have had beef in Ring of Honor. If you just have your wrestling fans that watch AEW, they don't know nothing about Ring of Honor. They never really watch Ring of Honor like that. They're not going to even know what the beef is between Nigel McGuinness and Bryan Danielson. Tony Khan is not taking the time to explain to the audience why these two have beef, why there's so much history between both these guys. Now, they kind of told that story on Collision. Okay, that's Collision. What about Dynamite, your main show? Okay, we get that Nigel McGuinness did not have the career that Bryan Danielson got to have. He missed out. He was supposed to have that career that Bryan Danielson had, but he did not. I can appreciate adding the storyline element to this match and because of the history between both guys, but no one really knows about the history like that. Only a small percentage of wrestling fans, smart marks, they know about the history. I didn't watch Ring of Honor back in 2009. I didn't even really know about Ring of Honor back in 2009. And nor do I have the time to go back and research their rivalry from Ring of Honor. I just don't have that type of time. But Tony Khan is not giving us enough ample time for this to really develop into something great.